back to Gainbridge Super League Game Week. We're your co-hosts, Brooke Kirchhofer and Jade Barkett. And if I am in the Gainbridge Super League right now, this close to playoffs, I don't want to see Sporting Jacks because they have three players scoring in double digits right now. Ashlyn Puerta, Bailey DeSmit, and Paige Kenton, all above 10 goals this season.
And they're the first team to do it. And like you mentioned, I would not want to play them either. You have threats from all sides, centrally and then out wide as well. And Bailey DeSmit has really come alive here in the last couple of weeks. She's been a part of a lot of chances created on goal for Sporting Jacks. And all three of them, it's like a triple threat, three-headed monster up top.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to their head coach, Stacey Balaam, recently. She said Ashlyn Puerta is the creator. She's just so gifted technically. Bailey DeSmit is the strong, fast player. And she said probably the best striker of the ball that they have on the team. So some serious high praise there. And then for Paige, the absolute workhorse. Her head coach said, I would not want to ever be in a 1v1 situation trying to defend her. But also what's really impressive about her game is the way that she represses. As soon as they lose the ball, you have to have your head on a swivel for a player like that. Some other teams who are really competing at a high level toward the back end of the season. Carolina, once again, top of the table in power rankings.
They are on a 4-game win streak, and you want to be peaking at the right time. And this is their second consecutive month going undefeated. And so when you talk about a playoff push, they are at the forefront of that. Obviously, number one in the power rankings, but it's because of the work that they have put in these last few months. And that's a lot of credit to their head coach, Philip Poole, who has been leading this team. And they weren't getting a lot of the results that they were wanting, really used to in the beginning of the season and kind of into the beginning of the spring, but then have just shot out of a cannon recently and just putting up result after result and proving why, they're a force to be reckoned with in this league.
I think that's something we've heard from a lot of different clubs in the Gainbridge Super League is that they finally removed that pressure, the thing that was in their way from coming into full form. And Carolina is certainly a group that is playing at their best right now. Excited to see them continue on. Lexington, second in the power rankings. Sporting Jacks moved into the rankings. They were not ranked last week. They're at 3. And then Spokane fell from 3 to 4. They round out the power rankings, but also Spokane wants to prove that they want to be alive for the playoffs this season.
They have to, and it's coming down to crunch time with games and matches coming up where it's must win for a team like Spokane, and they're going to be against DC, who are also in a must win situation right now. So the matches that are coming up are going to be down to the wire coming up here in May, but we don't want to look past April because there was some exciting soccer in the month of April. And our team of the month, we have so many different players from all teams on this month. Philip Poole, we just mentioned him. He's the coach of the second consecutive month he's earned this honor, and we mentioned the 2 undefeated months in March and April. The goalkeeper for Carolina, Cindy Martinez, gets the nod. Killing it. 2 clean sheets, 2 goals conceded in 4 appearances. Her goals against is actually negative. So extremely good work from Sid Martinez in between the posts. And then the defenders that you can pick from in this league, I feel like any different player could make it on the team of the month from any team. But you talk about a Jill Aguilera, who's also from Carolina, 2 goals and an assist. Amber Wisner is also making the team of the month with 2 goals. And her success rate in passing is just superb. Her vision on the field from that central back position has helped her team just grow so much in Dallas, and her experience as a veteran, not only in the Gainbridge Super League, but all throughout her pro career, just helps him so much get higher up the pitch quicker. Alyssa Bourgeois, who we talked to last week, she had an assist. She creates so many chances. We talked about how she flies up the wing and tries to shoot it or cross it from whatever side of the pitch that she's on. And then Grace Philpotts from Sporting Jacks, lock-up defender, would not want to go 1v1 against her either. In the midfield, again, you can have your pick of whoever. Really, everyone is creating chances. You have Sam Kroger from Brooklyn, 2 assists for her. She just works up and down in the midfield, a box-to-box player, truly, and really an engine for that Brooklyn side. Sophia Bowman from Sporting Jacks, 2 goals and 4 appearances for her. Again, another threat for Sporting Jacks that they can throw in as well. And then Emily Colton from DC, she has an assist as well. And then Emma Jaskaniec, who we'll get to in a little bit, 1 goal, 4 shots for her, has come alive really in the system that Nicole Lukic has put her in. She started playing higher up the pitch. She's kind of transitioned into a lower role for her team, but really a player that can fill any sort of role for Spokane. And then the forwards. Again, we talk about a Kat Berry, who made the list. She's also the player of the month. 5 goals in 4 appearances, 1 assist. She has 15 goals and counting for that Lexington side, and a player forced to be reckoned with. And then Loza Abera, who, when she steps on the field for DC, changes the game. I remember watching her against Fort Lauderdale, and she scored a goal in a time where she was a sub, stepped on the field, and had to convert for her team to stay in it. And she did 3 goals and 1 assist in the month of April. And then we mentioned Philip Poole, leading the helm for Carolina, truly doing everything he can to put his team in the best position to put themselves in the playoff push.
Yeah, you mentioned Loza Abera and Sam Kroger, different roles in terms of you wonder what, for Brooklyn, if Sam Kroger was healthy the entire season, what she could have provided, maybe a better push at the end for the playoffs, or at least they'd be in a better position, of course, outside looking in now. But Sam Kroger is the maestro of the midfield in terms of when you look at all the midfielders across Gainbridge Super League, she's certainly someone you want on your roster. And then on the flip side of things, without Gianna Gorley, what Loza Abera has done in stepping up, Alyssa Walker, and what they have had to do without G Money up there on the front line and what she provides. Of course, we love to see the money bag from this season, her going and robbing that from the side of things. And speaking of that midfield line and who was team of the month, Spokane Zephyr's Emma Jaskaniec was on team of the month, as we mentioned. And we talked to Emma Jaskaniec and her teammate, Katie Murray, right after the break.
Dangerous spot. Spokane strikes first. Jaskaniec has a goal. It's in!
Welcome back to Game Week. We're so excited to talk to a couple of Spokane Zephyr players. Right now we have midfielder Katie Murray. We are waiting on midfielder Emma Jaskaniec, who had to deal with some real life stuff in an apartment complex. There was a fire alarm. We talked about saving the sourdough bread. We'll get to all of that. But Katie, thank you so much for joining me and Jade.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, speaking of Spokane, the home environment there, just from what we've seen on the broadcast, it exudes well into audio for us, and I can just imagine what it's like to experience there. For someone who has not been to one Spokane stadium, describe it for us.
Yeah, I think Spokane truly has one of the best game day experiences. The stadium's really intimate, so you really hear the fans throughout the whole entire game. They really show up. They're buying the jerseys. The cheering never stops, and I do think there's a real home field advantage in Spokane because of them. They really give us the second win we need and like carry us throughout the whole entire game. They get really into it too. I love it.
You need that. You love that from your fan base, and you've been there for 2 years now. What has surprised you the most about the city of Spokane, and what do you like the most about it?
I think overall just their buy-in to soccer. You have a local college, Gonzaga, and that's in maybe like a hockey and baseball team, but their ability to buy into who we are, and especially the women's side, has been really exciting and meaningful. Spokane itself is a small city, so it feels very connected, and just real, genuine relationships are constantly being made outside the field.
And Katie, just what I've seen from you and Emma's social media, you seem to be like big lake girlies, like to be outside, and you kind of get all of that in one. I know you guys travel a lot during the season, but how much does that add in terms of what your off days look like in Spokane?
Yeah, I would say quality of life is not too bad out here. We're both from the Midwest, where it's a little flat and you maybe got not too much to explore. So having all these lakes and mountains and national parks, not that we always get the time to take a day trip around you. You can always escape and kind of take your mind off the field for a little bit. We're always hopping in the river, It's a little cold at times, so we kind of use it as an ice bath. But
Love that.
yeah, we soak it up for sure.
Is there a hidden gem in Spokane that you want to let the people know about, or not gatekeep, just for the girls yourself?
We have found a little swimming hole in the river. There's really not even a name for it. We just call it the swimming hole, but it's back in this random neighborhood. You go through a fence and it's really pretty. It's like a natural swimming pool. But I don't know if I say it. Will it be that secret anymore? I don't know.
It's gonna be crowded now. There's gonna be people everywhere.
I already told some of my teammates. I'm like, man, this is too much. Like too many people know about it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we won't give the details. Not away on game week. Want to get into some of the change that you guys have been in over there this season, specifically with a change in the technical staff, with Nicole Lukic being welcomed in as the new head coach. What was that transition like for you, especially a player as yourself who has been in the game and has probably experienced this before?
Yeah, I think obviously last year we went through a similar thing where our coach wasn't here in the preseason, and I think Nicole and the staff really took their time to come in and see players through their own lens, and evaluate and kind of find out what style to roll with based on what she saw and observed. So we have changed quite a bit, our attacking style, trying to find more ways to get more shots on the goal and stuff. So it does present some challenges in a way, but I think we're up for the challenge. We've been through it before, and the staff has been they've just been great in dealing with it. And I think in January, when we had more time to reset and really reevaluate, is when our trajectory has taken off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can definitely tell that. Was that January time kind of like a little bit of a preseason with her to really implement everything that she wanted to in a way where you guys didn't have to play games specifically? You could just train, work out the kinks, and then be ready to go, because the trajectory, like you mentioned, has been off the charts.
Yes, for sure. I think it was definitely a great time to really implement what she wants from us and our identity moving forward. I think prior to that January window, you step in as a coach and you don't want to change too much, because obviously we've kind of been already doing something from the start. So allowing that to play out while also knowing that there's a new identity that maybe we want to implement in January, definitely kind of helped, and that kind of set the tone.
She's Emma,
back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
She's here.
Okay, you got to set the table for us. What just happened? Is everything okay?
Yeah, so everything's okay. So I'm on the 5th floor. I walk down 5 flights of stairs, and the building manager is down there, and I'm like, "Is there fire?" And he's like, "No, complete false alarm. I accidentally set it off." I'm like, "Perfect. Okay, when will the alarm be off?" And he was like, "I have no idea." He's like, "The fire department's on the way." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I'm standing outside, and the fire department ends up coming in, and so I start talking to them, and he's like, "I can make it go faster if you give me $20. I'm like, "Well, I'm not going to do that." So, but they were like, "It's
You can make
fine."
it go faster.
And so then I start walking back up the stairs to my apartment, and I hit the first flight of stairs, and there's this lady, and she's a baby French bulldog, and a big size French bulldog. And she's carrying the big one, and she's like, "Is there any way you can help me carry him up the stairs?" And I was like, "Sure, what floor are you on?" She's on floor 7, so I'm like, "Perfect." But I carry this little baby French bulldog. His name is Romeo. And then there's a boy and a girl, and I've met the girl. Her name's Mabel. There's a girl French bulldog and a boy French bulldog, both babies. And so then I carried Romeo. That's the first time I met him. So sweet, all the way up to the 7th floor. I was sweating. It's really hot, but
Civilian
then I
of the
came back down, and now
year.
I'm here.
You don't look sweaty. Emma Jaskaniec is for people. She's helping out the community. You love it.
Come on, people person.
Yes. Well, you didn't miss too much. Katie kind of gave us the behind the scenes of this watering hole you guys go to. Spokane fans. Yeah, and we're in the midst of talking about the change in coaching staff, but did you want to talk about any of those other things that we might have missed?
No, I mean, I guess I'll just second Katie's, the watering hole is, the best place ever. I was actually trying to find it the other day, and I couldn't remember the name of it.
Is that a name?
But
it checks out. That's good because Katie said we just call it the swimming hole, and we're not trying to get too many people there because
very low key.
Very low key.
Exactly. But it's been so nice in Spokane. So Katie, tomorrow, catch you there.
See you there.
But yeah, that's all I got for that front. Yeah.
So we're just talking about new addition of Nicole Lukic. Not a new addition at this point. Been there with you guys now for at least this back half of the season. Mm-hmm. What philosophy has she brought to the club that you've specifically liked, Emma?
I think something that Nicole has brought is like, it's like a people first and then player. And I feel like she values us so much as people. And I think one of the biggest things that has like proven that to me and I think to my teammates is like the staff that she's brought in has like been there for us since the day that they got there and like has wanted to help us. And I have felt like in the past where it's like I haven't been necessarily like growing as much, and like the people that Nicole has brought in have like completely shifted my game. Like I do film weekly with them, like individual film, and I just feel like she's like helped the team grow and like myself grow as an individual. And I think first and foremost, like I had said, she cares about us as people, and I think you can really feel that. And I also feel like that just brings us like collectively together as like a unit. And when I step on that field, I think one thing that makes Spokane so special is like I'm fighting for the girls next to me, and I'm fighting for the coaching staff, and I'm like fighting for Spokane like as a community, because like I am valued as like a person first. So I think it makes it so much easier to go out every single day and like put your best foot forward, because you know that the people around you also have your back.
You can tell that in the way that you guys play. We talked to Katie a little bit about the fans that come out to One Spokane and just show up for you guys all of the time. What has been your experience like with the fans there at Spokane? Do the chants and the cheers just fuel you during the game?
Yeah, 100%. I think we have such an intimate stadium, and I think you can really feel that. And I think that's something so unique to Spokane versus like other teams in the league, is like how close and intimate it really is. And you can hear the fans like cheering and yelling, and like after goals like they'll be like, let's go, or like, let's go Katie, and like say your name, and like the whole stadium is like chanting. And I feel like we do get like a good crowd, especially for like a newer league. And I also feel like having it be like so close to the stadium, it's like you feel the fans' presence. But then like after the games, like going up, it's like I walk to my bench and like I'm touching like the people who are right there. And I think Katie can attest to it too. Just the fans like support for us is unmatched. Like I have like little girls, like I think every single game, like making me post like specific like Go Team Red head posters, like the most adorable things, like little
I need to dye
like
my hair
little
red.
bracelets and come on. Like they'll make me bracelets or like give me candy, and it's like I know a lot of the like little girls by name, and I think just because of that I really do feel like I'm having an impact here, which again, like I was talking about earlier, it makes me want to go out there and like perform for the people around me in the community of Spokane, just because I know I'm having an impact. And like I've gotten DMs from like moms of little girls and be like, my little girl started playing soccer because of you. And it's like that for me, like that like makes my career. Yeah. It's like I want to be the best player I can be, but to like go and inspire like a new generation and like to be a part of this new league and like pave the way for people, I think is so special. And I think Spokane is just like such a great place to do that.
I love that. In terms of your relationship with Katie and Emma, what was the first time you guys met? First impressions of each other, unfiltered.
Oh no. Was it probably first day of preseason then, huh?
I think it might have been the 4th of July party.
What was that?
Marley had everybody over for the 4th of July party.
Yeah.
I guess when we first met, I think we were all like, I wouldn't want to say shy and quiet, but it was the first time anybody in the entire team had met. So I think right off the bat, like everybody's just like scouting each other out, like who are you gonna be close with or whatnot. But I feel like Katie and I actually got pretty close, like right off the bat. I think I don't want to say crackhead is the right word, but Katie and I both have dominant personalities, like fun, bubbly people. So I think like her and I just like hit it off right off the bat, and we both play in the midfield. Except she was playing outside back when we first started, which was just in different time. But I feel like Katie and I just like got along really well from what I can remember, unless Katie, you have a different story.
I mean, Emma's definitely a loud personality, so I was like, well, who is this chick? I'm just kidding. Maybe like a little bit, but I think because we are both kind of louder and more outgoing and we don't really get embarrassed too easily, that in the locker room kind of trying to break the ice and be the first people dancing or singing and getting people involved to kind of get out of their shells, we naturally kind of clung to each other just as time went on, because we are those people in the locker room, a little obnoxious.
Sometimes those personalities can clash, and so I love that it kind of just flowed together for you guys, because you're like, okay, I'm energetic, you're energetic, let's bring the ball of energy together and snowball that for the rest of the team. Katie, speaking of energy, your game face,
tough.
Small but mighty, my girl. Okay, you are intimidating just with the way that you look on the field. What mode do you go into on match day? Is it a complete 180 switch from how you are off the field?
Yes, 100%. A lot of times after games, I'm like, I promise I'm not that mean. Like, I don't know. I just get really competitive and into the game. Soccer's really been my outlet, so I think when I step on, like, every emotion is poured into it. And I also think maybe just because of my size growing up, I've kind of always had to have that underdog and fight. There was like an age when everyone was like growing and I was still tiny. Like, there's pictures of me with girls 2 feet taller and biceps, and I'm so far behind in growth in that area that I truly struggled how to find a way to use my body, or I needed to play faster or else I'd get pushed off. So over time, growing in that and like learning how to use my body and win the space despite my size, I think is what kind of has carried into my game now.
Yeah, we definitely see it. And Emma, you can probably attest to the first time you kind of saw that fire from Katie.
Yeah, 100%. I think, Jade, when you were talking about the game day, I think it's so funny because like I get to see Katie before the games, and like last year we like sang this like pitch perfect anthem, and Katie and I would just be like going off, like dancing, like trying to hype everybody up, and like it's kind of the same like this year, like we're just like going crazy. Katie, like sometimes we have a microphone, we'll get on the microphone and be like yelling and pointing at people, and then she steps onto this field and she's just this like bullet firecracker, like nobody's stopping her. And I think having somebody like that, I think it's like so cool to like look up to her and to like know that you can be like this fun, energetic personality, but like turn it on in an instant as soon as you step on the field. And I think Katie has been like, since being back from her injury, like such an engine for us on the field, just like able to like bust through tackles, like body people. And it's so funny because she's like, I'm like small and I've had to like learn how to use that, but it's like, even though she is short, like I don't see her like that because of like how aggressive she is and how much her defensive presence is there, like stripping people from the ball, and like even when people try and tackle her, like somehow she just gets out of it, and I'm like, go Katie!
I got you, girl. But it's also fearlessness, right? And it's something. And we want to talk about your injury, Katie, and you said soccer being your outlet, that being taken away from you. What was that process like for you? And then how, when you get back on the field now, has the gratitude changed for the game at all?
Yes, 100%. So I got injured end of May, second last game of the season. So I spent my entire summer here rehabbing while the team went home for the off season. So there was a lot of lonely days when I still couldn't walk quite yet, spent inside, isolated with just like my thoughts. And again, soccer has always been my outlet, so trying to navigate life without having that and how I can apply myself differently has been really eye-opening. And it also really made me just slow down and like take my time, like, because I quite literally couldn't move any faster. Right. So it kind of makes you realize how much you rush through things or get anxious about things for no reason. But stepping back onto the field, I feel it's funny because people ask me like, has it hit you yet that you're like dressing? Has it hit you yet that like you're starting? I'm like, No, not really, because I think in my head, again, just being competitive, I set this goal date, like I'm going to be back in March. And with like the help of my PT staff and medical staff, they never thought I was crazy, and they helped push me safely, of course, if it made sense, to get to that date. So even now, I don't think I realized what I actually endured, but it did make me realize how much I should be checking on my teammates and other people who are going through the same thing, because it is isolating and it can take a toll on your mental health. But now that I'm back on the field, I will never take a moment for granted, because it's something that I never thought would happen to me. And when it did, it was like, holy cow, like it's happening. Yeah. So just, yeah, never taking a moment for granted, and you never know what tomorrow can bring, and to just keep fighting on, literally.
Yeah. Do you think there's a difference between your game before your injury and now? Just tactical wise, or just flow of how you play, or as soon as you stepped on the pitch again, you were right back to who you were, like Emma said, just flying through people, winning tackles, and playing on from there?
Yeah, I think in the very beginning on the return to field, being a little bit smarter, because it might not have been visible to other people's eyes, but I could tell I wasn't my twitchiest self or my most explosive self. Where other people would be like, no, you look good. I'm like, no, I'm not like Katie's level of like what I know I can do. So I was playing a little bit quicker and a little bit smarter, whereas sometimes I think I was able to get out of situations with being a little bit more shiftier on the ball. So being patient with myself until I get to that point, which I think I finally am, has made me really see the game differently, and how to like utilize my teammates more around me and kind of make myself work smarter.
Yeah, Katie, when are we going to see the front handspring that got featured on Sports Center back in the college days?
That was, I don't know what came out of me. Like I just turned, it was like my soul left my body, and I went like hyping up a crowd of absolutely nobody. It was like, because it was in Wisconsin, so there was like a few Illinois fans. So I was like, come on. There was maybe like 10 people in the stands. I don't know. Maybe I'll bring that back. My first goal back. Maybe it'll be this weekend.
I love it. Yes.
This weekend, manifesting it.
Okay, so speaking of this weekend, Emma, the pregame fits have been fitting. Mm-hmm. What goes into putting together the perfect pregame fit?
Well, first of all, thank you. That was so sweet. I feel like this past like year, I've definitely upped like my clothing game. So I think just like having good pieces, I think is important for me. But I think the main thing that goes into it is I like go on like Pinterest and I'll like look up like outfits that I think are really cute, and I'll be like, okay, I think I have this, and I like put it together. But at the beginning of the season, it would take me like an hour and a half. I'd be ripping through my closet trying clothes on, and I'm like, I can't even play this game. I'm so exhausted from trying all these clothes on. But I've refined it more over time. So
is that something that you go and find pieces in your closet, or are you going out shopping? Okay, I need something like a cute belt or an accent piece to add to a fit.
I think at the beginning, just in like everyday life too, I like decided I wanted to like start like no shades people who do this, but like not wear like shorts and a t-shirt every day as much as I was, just because it's so easy to fall into that habit. Like I show up to the stadium and I come home, so it's like, but I felt like I'd put myself in like a better place like mentally, just to be like, okay, like I'm gonna put a cute outfit on, like this is gonna be fun. So I think I started like getting clothes for that, and then it made it a lot easier to then put like pregame outfits together. So but I wouldn't say I'm specifically going and getting things for the pregame outfit, but definitely shopping for outfits.
Definitely the flair of West Coast coming from Wisconsin. It's definitely got on to you a little bit.
I know, that's not typical Midwest behavior.
No.
She walks into the locker room on game days. I'm like, where'd you get this, Emma? Like, what? They're like, you look great. Let's go.
And he's like, here.
Yeah, I think it also helps my like I went to Wisconsin, but my two best friends are from Texas and then the East Coast, so they also like don't have the same style that I had growing up. So I think like now like getting ideas from them also has helped, like a little Southern Belle and just like a little East Coast baddie. So like they give me some ideas.
So question for both of you guys, what is back home life for you, for two Midwesterners? Like, how different is it compared to your day to day in the Gainbridge Super League?
You can
I think it's interesting because my whole life, all I've really ever known is soccer. I was actually talking about this to somebody the other day, and like I'm like very privileged to like be able to say this, and like my family's put me in such a good spot. But I remember like growing up, I'm like, Dad, like I want a job, like I want to make my own money, and he's like, soccer's your job, like I want you to play soccer. So it's like soccer's been my whole life, and I grew up in Wisconsin, played in Wisconsin, went to college at Wisconsin, and then coming here, I still feel like soccer like dominates my life. But it's interesting because like in college, like we had school, and coming here, I feel like it's a lot more free time and stuff. In Spokane, I feel like is like a gem of the West Coast, specifically because people always say like Midwest nice. And like I've lived out in the East Coast for a summer and people were not very nice. I'd like be like, oh my gosh, I love your jacket, to some like random person. They just like look at me, like give me the death eyes. I'm like, oh, sorry. But like people here, I feel like are just the sweetest people ever, and I kind of feel like right at home. And they don't have like as many lakes and things like that, but like we were talking about, like they have like our little watering hole and they have the river, and I live downtown, so it's like there's always things to do. So it doesn't feel really too different for me, except like my family's not here anymore. So that's, I would say, the biggest change for me.
Yeah, I think for me, when I'm home, I just spend a lot of time hopping around some friends' homes and family, catching up with them. I think we have a campground on the river, so if I do escape soccer, it's hanging out at that campground on the Ohio River. Growing up, we used to like float on tree trunks down the river and just like hop off, and someone would pick us up. Just a bunch of kids sitting on a log floating down the river. So coming here and having like a real nice blue clear river was like, wow, I love this, and all the lakes around. But yeah, I think having different things to do around here, whether it's like Mount Spokane, the lakes, the trails, it's a little bit more scenic, so that's just really refreshing. And yeah, Cincinnati's cool too. So
Emma, I'd like to avenge all of the East Coast people because I'm an East Coast person, and I promise we're not mean. Okay, that was
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Try us
you
again.
Are very
Try
nice.
us again. We want to get into a little bit more of the soccer side of things now. Emma, do you have a favorite goal that you have scored this season?
Yeah, definitely my favorite goal is the Brooklyn goal.
Banger.
I think it was like a moment. Honestly, I feel like one of the first moments I'd like felt as a professional that I was just like in complete like flow state. Like I remember getting the ball and just like taking a touch, and just like as soon as it came off my foot, I was like, I know this is going in. And I went back and I like rewatched the film of it, and I thought nobody was around me. Like I thought I was just in acres of space, and then I looked at the video and there's like 2 people closing me down. And I was like, wow, like that's not what it felt like. And I think off of that, I think that carrying into the season, like I think I've just been able to like hit more of those moments of just like completely feeling like myself and like getting into rhythm with my teammates and stuff. So that's been really exciting. But yeah, the Brooklyn goal is definitely my favorite. So also like this is gonna sound like a little weird, like when we played Jacksonville, I like missed the PK, but then ended up getting the rebound and scoring. And I think arguably that could also be my favorite moment, because like to beat the number 1 team in the league on a playoff push, like I think was in front of the home crowd was just like so amazing and so much fun.
Man, we just continue to get so much fun personalities and interviews with these players at the Gainbridge Super League week in and week out.
You really do. We had, the cat mask with Alyssa Bourgeois and Tati Fung. We're hearing the banter from DC with Sid Cummings and Alyssa Walker. You never know what you're...
Now a fire alarm?
Now we're fire alarm. And, it just might be life. And that is okay because we're the same way. Broadcast we put on and we're a different person. It comes off and life is what it's going to be like. And I love that we're getting these real, raw, unfiltered moments. That's what this is about.
Real life. Emma Jaskaniec was okay. The apartment was okay. False alarm. But unfortunately, one of our favorite parts of the segment that we didn't get to actually record because we were making sure that Emma was okay in her apartment, which I guess a bonus. She got to meet her neighbor and like the cute little dogs in the hallway. So we love that. But Katie Murray was talking to us a little bit about what she does off the pitch in terms of maybe what life will look like for her when she does hang up the boots. Doesn't sound like it's anytime soon because she's just been at the height of her game. We're happy to have her back and healthy. But Jade, you got to talk to her a little bit about what that might look like once soccer is over.
So she was actually in PT school prior to the Gainbridge Super League becoming what it is and getting the call from Spokane. And while she was in school, she, found out that Spokane wanted to have her on their team, and so everybody at school basically told her to come back later rather than sooner and go chase that dream. She has a kinesiology background from her undergrad at Illinois, took that into PT school, has a passion for it, but told me that once she was going to play soccer and fulfill that dream, that's what she was focusing on. She was still training while she was in PT school, actually, just to be ready for anything if possible. And I got to ask her if her background at all in her education helped her with when she got injured and having to go through all that just hectic physical therapy that it is with the type of injury she had. And she wasn't too deep into PT school to really know exactly what was going on, but she knows her body so well, probably because of, being through school, but also just, living in her own skin. And she did say she has an appreciation for all things physical therapy, grueling as it is, and might go back to it once, soccer is over, because school will always be there and she can always go back to it, but your soccer career is not for forever.
Absolutely. And be on the lookout, GainbridgeSuperLeague.com and all of the socials, websites, to be up to date on the playoff implications, because Spokane is trying so hard to get that fourth spot. And there's a lot of coaches that we've talked to during the week on our coaches' calls as we prepared for the matches we're going to be calling this week that have said, look, they have what it takes. They have the quality to absolutely be that fourth team. So we will see. So good to see the one and only Allie Long finally on the pitch in Fort Lauderdale. Could you imagine what the atmosphere was like at that match?
Oh my gosh, I wish I was there. That's history in the making. In reality, she made her debut for Fort Lauderdale United. She's the first World Cup champion to play in a Gainbridge Super League match. I mean, amazing experience for Fort Lauderdale. Her family, her daughter was there. And just to be able to, experience that for a club and bringing that history to them, but also for her to be able to, make that full circle moment where you're in a league that is new and starting up. She was once in that same stage with the NWSL, now putting on a pedestal, and she didn't get a ton of minutes, but, it's groundbreaking for what's to come.
Absolutely. I love what she said in the post-game interview, even though she did sub in pretty late in that match. She's like, look, they just want to finish out better than they would have if she wasn't there. I loved it. She was like, look, she knows what she brings to the table and wants to elevate play. Of course, they're outside looking in terms of the playoffs, but she doesn't care. She wants to continue to push them forward. We're excited to hopefully keep her a little bit longer in the Gainbridge Super League. Hopefully an exciting start to next season as well.
Absolutely, and what an inspiration for the players that are in the league. I'm sure they look up to her as not only a soccer player, but as a woman who has just paved the way for a lot of the professional players in this country. And then for the people watching, you heard it from Emma Jaskaniec when we talked to her about, being next to these fans who want to be like her and to just pass the baton back to the next generation of athletes. That's exactly what we're seeing with Allie Long, and we love a full circle moment.
Imagine having that voice in the locker room too. You can't tell me that would not fire you up and make you play at your best. We are so excited though to see everybody at their best. We're close to the semifinals. We're excited to see who's going to be in the finals, where it is going to be hosted at. Jade and I will both be on the call for all of those matches. We are so excited, and thanks for joining us on another edition of the Gainbridge Super League Game Week. Be sure to keep an eye out on our YouTube page. Plenty of docu-series up there to continue learning more and more about the league. We'll see you next time.